Madam Clerk, we're going to do item number 12.
Item number 12.
Yes, Council President. Item number 12 is resolution honoring City of Paterson April 2021 Employees of the Month. It's a City Council Resolution 21:188.
So moved.
Second.
So, who moved?
Moved by Councilman Mims, second by Councilman Velez,
Mendes.
and Councilman Mendes.
Okay.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 12, resolution 21:188. Councilwoman Cotton?
This is number 12, right, Madam
Yes,
Clerk?
Councilwoman.
Oh, okay. Well, of course, you know, all my city employees out there knows that it's truly an honor to recognize you. And those that are being chosen as Employee of the Month, I want to say congratulations. I wish there's a lot more that we can do, but I can tell you one thing, things will get better. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Davlin?
Congratulations to the 10 individuals that are being recognized for the month of April. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Kalik?
Congratulations to all the honorees. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. It's always a great pleasure and very important also as well to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of our employees with this recognition. And I also agree with some of my council colleagues. I wish we could do more for our employees. And my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims?
And so I always go back to writing this legislation and making it an ordinance and a law. Even though it was stated at the time it was a feel-good resolution, a lot of employees are feeling real good because this is the third month that we are honoring employees of this great city of Paterson. And I'm super excited to see that we do it here in the city council chambers. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Velez?
Well, I could say a little bit of everyone. They know me, I know them. Some we cross each other. They do a phenomenal job in the city and not being unnoticed. Congratulations to all of them. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
Vote is yes.
Thank you, Council President. The votes are 7 yeses, 2 absent. Item number 12 is hereby adopted.
Discussion, Council President.
Councilman Mims.
And so I want to acknowledge all of the employees that are being recognized for the month of April. I want to thank the mayor and the department heads for acknowledging different individuals in your department. And so these are the honorees for the month of April. Detective Captain John Phelan. And as you're being honored, just come by our secretary as she hands them to you, and then just come around and we will fist pump everybody. Just wait until all names are called, okay? Maria Calderon, Pamela Carroll, Tasha Alexander, Joseph Barberi, Fritzner Urizine, Kenya Lombard, Pascual Nieves, Abima Buchanan, and Janet Burgos. Congratulations to our employees of the month for the month of April.
You pick up a check through here, though.
Kenya,
Kenya.
got you go right.
Kenya,
Fist
but
pump everyone.
don't worry, we got a Lysol, we got everything. God bless. Let's call Nieves.
Good.
No. 21st Avenue, 21st.
Thank you. Ca- Actually, we need to, we need to continue with the agenda. Madam Clerk, we're going to do the, we're going to do the payment of bills.
Yes, Council President.
Payment of bills, I'd like to make a motion. Payment of bills of $1,078,173.36.
Do we have a second? Councilman Velez, you second that? So moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Discussion, I just have a question. Madam BA and CFO, how much have we collected from the county out of the 12 million and some change that we were allocated? How much have we collected so far?
34,000.
How much we were reimbursed for?
Reimbursed.
I'd have to look it up. I think we're close to, at this point, about 8. Let me open up, see if I could access my spreadsheet.
Yeah, I want to say 7 or 8.
Yeah.
7 or 8, and these expenses were almost started 2020 fiscal year.
Correct.
Then we
Through
had
the
a
transition year.
transition year.
Yep.
So did we at least collect all the expenses from 2020?
Yes.
Okay.
We're now on, it's mostly the payroll submissions at this point, and there's a lot of backup required, so we're kind of submitting them, they review them, they approve them, we're preparing the next batch and so on.
And
So
not to
we're
prolong
through-
the meeting, did we get all the equipment? I noticed we're paying Dell. Did we get all the equipment, all the laptops that we need for the committee, for the boards that we have in the city?
I don't know I think they're still on back order. I see Director Foote shaking his head. I know we're still waiting for some to be delivered.
So
Yeah,
by the
it
time,
is unfortunate.
by the time they get them, they're probably not gonna need them.
Well,
Because they're-
they'll still have them as a resource, just like you have them, to access
Well,
documents.
actually, no, we actually using them, so.
I know, but they'll be able to access this documents on the server and the like. So.
Okay. Councilwoman Davila.
So, Council President, I want to address, not by name, but just, it seems as though every time we ask a question, and we get the same answer. So we've had it, it's been over 2 months that we asked about where we were with the laptops and for our different boards. We got the same answer today again, I don't know. So I have a question, and I hope that you don't say I don't know to me now, and that is, where are we with the employees who were overpaid and did not pay the money back? I know we had a discussion. I had told you that, we were not a bank, we're not in the business to loan money, interest-free. And I thought it was a little unacceptable what was the response. The payments were supposed to come and they did not begin. So I want to know where we are right now in terms of those individuals who owe the city money.
It's my understanding it was all 3 pay periods of April is where they were going to be paid back from.
All right.
So I have not been told otherwise that did not happen. That was the plan.
Is that money being taken out of their check? Or
Correct.
they have to? Okay.
Correct. It's taken out of their check as part of the 3 pay periods in April.
Thank
Council
you.
President,
Councilman Velez.
well, mine was taken right away, so.
All right, could we have a roll
Hold
call?
on, Council
This-
President, I just made a joke, happy joke.
I thought you were finished.
No,
thought
I
you
haven't
were just
finished.
Joking.
Council President, I just want to ask the administration, I see here, I don't know, this is the one that we approve on the contract of removal of snow, 111,750. That was the one that we approve for the
111.
snow removal for this company?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, we approved 2.
Councilman, right now we're in roll call for the $34,000.
No.
No,
no,
no, we in the, on the
We're not
regular
there
bill.
yet, Council President.
Which, come again.
Regular bill.
Oh, we're doing the regular, okay, regular payment of bills, all right.
Yeah.
That's next.
You finish, Councilman?
Yeah, I did.
Roll call?
Yes, Council President, roll call and payment of bill for $1,078,173.36. Councilwoman Cotton? Councilwoman Davila?
So, to the community, I sit in a committee as the chair, personnel committee, and I have been asking for some information. I've had conversations with the administration, with the mayor. Our BA no longer comes to those meetings, she sends her assistant BA, so a lot of the questions sometimes are not answered. And I have a lot of concerns, and one of them has to do with overtime. And I was not in agreement with the individuals who were overpaid, like all of us were. Our monies were reverted, and they decided that they're gonna use the money, and I had a problem with that. So, Council President, I'm not gonna say anymore, but I can't support this payment of bill, and from here on, I'm not going to support any payment of bills till the issues that are going on in the city are taken care of. My vote is no.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Jackson?
So, first, I apologize to everyone for my tardiness. And as everyone knows, I firmly voted no against every bill, any bill list that has any payment to this current garbage company on the bill list. I don't know if it has, and I don't want to rekindle any discussion. But as the one of the chairpersons on the personnel committee as well, and having an opportunity to witness the disrespect from members of this administration directly to this council, which I've been saying for the last several years, there is a manner in which business is supposed to be conducted, and this council is supposed to be the entity that holds the administration accountable, how money is spent, how services are rendered. And the entire time, I've been a council person for about 7 years now, over multiple, actually, it's only 2 mayors, but this mayor has done things that I've never seen done before. And when you talk about, when I've watched what happened under the tenure of Mayor Jones and how the council held Mayor Jones accountable to spending, this council has not. This council has allowed for a train wreck to take place. When you consider the $144 million in tax credits that this council does not want to take ownership of, when you consider the illegal hires, as I posted today, we had an employee who was actually working for 3 municipalities, working for the city of Paterson, city of Oakland, and city of Helden, consecutively, collecting 3 checks from 3 different municipalities, while we have people in this community that cannot even find employment. It's a gross disrespect, and I'm looking forward to the council growing a set of courage, and take its rightful place in holding this administration accountable. The public needs us to stand forward on their behalf. When you talk about squandering funds and squandering of city assets, and then also putting people in place that cannot, let's get that clear, are incapable of providing the services or providing the doing the job set forward, because they lack the experience, they lack the training, they lack the certifications. We cannot continue to allow this thing to happen. So just on that note, obviously, Madam Clerk, I cannot, I'll stand firm as I normally do. No, my vote is no.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. My vote is no.
Councilwoman Mims?
And so before I vote, because I know there has been conversations with the $63.7 million, and I know a lot of us on the council have expressed the concern that we would like to have a meeting, and that there would be a robust discussion that includes the council in that. So I'm just gonna put my wish list together, and I'm gonna submit it now. And if you wanna take some notes, you can do that. Hazard pay for all of the frontline workers that worked from the inception of COVID-19. Police substations in the 1st, 4th, and the 5th Ward. A multi-purpose recreational center to avoid and decrease some of the crime. Portable hand sanitizer machines in the libraries and the parks. Small business owners, some type of lottery system to give them some type of relief during COVID, and then some type of voucher for single parents that are dealing with virtual experiences with their children. I repeat, hazard pay for all frontline workers, police substations in the 1st, 4th, and 5th Ward, multi-purpose recreational center, portable hand sanitizers in all libraries and parks, small business owners, some type of system or put in place where they can get some type of relief, and also for single parents that are dealing with their children in virtual learning. Thank you to the administration. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez?
I agree, and I endorse that wish list. Hopefully we could have it completed before 2022. I had to laugh, administration, we gotta laugh together. It's time that this administration and, not just put things that we request and things that we ask. We are taking the sentiment and the concerns of the community. That's why they elected us. So to just put in a piece of paper on a block of ice or whatever you want to put it, it's not going to help the community. It's moving forward to making sure that that's a plan putting forward with the money that is already assigned to the city of Paterson. And at least if the mayor decides to do any press conference, at least he has something to pick up from that list and call the whole entire council and say, we heard the council request based on the community needs. So my vote is yes in this paying my bills.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Cotton? You're voting on the payment of bill, the regular payment of bills?
Madam Clerk, I'm abstaining, please. Thank you.
Did you say abstain?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. President,
So, very briefly, working together means that's what it means, working together, right? That means that you take into account, we're two different bodies here. And 2 years, almost 3 years now here, making recommendations often, and then things just don't get addressed. And this is where the relationship between some council members and administration tend to go the other way. Then when it goes the other way is Councilman so-and-so doesn't work with us, which is interesting. Often hear this, Council so-and-so doesn't work with us. All I'm asking the administration for things that I've been asking now for 2 years, things that are not difficult. And again, if you tell me that I'm wrong, then I leave it alone. But I have not been told that I'm wrong, and things still don't get taken care of. You have departments with layers that we've never seen before, and it's still going on. People doing functions that they have never done before, but they have more experience than the people that have been doing it for 10 years. So hopefully, it's not a threat, but hopefully, by the way, this is a discussion I had in finance today, how frustrating it is to always bring things to the table, but it always gets put in the back burner and it doesn't get taken care of. My vote is no. Madam Clerk.
Council President,
Councilman Velez?
if it's failed, we have approved, based on ordinance, payment of bills. And what's going to happen then?
What are you talking about?
There's some contracts that was honored, and it was approved by this council to move forward. And then now the payments are here. For example, I put the example of the snow removal. And, you know,
Councilman, we are all aware of what we're voting on. And that's something, I don't question any of you guys the way you vote. I let you guys vote the way you vote. And I've seen a tendency lately that council members always got to question the way other people vote.
I'm not questioning the vote.
We
I'm questioning the
voted
process.
no, he failed. Everyone that voted should be aware of the consequences of voting no on a bills list, and that's it. Do you have a motion for the next one, next bills list?
Yes, Council President. We have a COVID bills list in the amount of $34,016.06.
Move. Second.
Moved by Councilman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call.
Discussion.
Councilman Jackson, then Councilman Mendez.
If we could just get an overview on the bills list, please, Council President.
For COVID, it's cleaning products. It's for, Circle Janitorial, 15,000 worth of cleaning products, Dell Computers, and for Millennium Strategies for the CARES work that they do.
I'm sorry, can we get an outline on what CARES work exactly that they're doing?
They work with us to do all the submissions of the documentation to the county for reimbursement. So we meet with them weekly, we go over all the items, if there are things that we want to, get further details on, they do a lot of that work. And the collate, kind of all the creation of the files.
How much is that payment for?
13,140.
13 what?
13,140.
So they're getting 13,000 to help file paperwork? They're not doing any work, they're just helping file paperwork?
They're doing the work of putting together the reimbursement packets.
And the 13,000 outlines exactly how much of this work that they're doing. What is the
It's
payment
the hours.
for?
Is that,
For
the invoice
this
is
a
there?
3-week payment, 1-month payment, the whole?
73 hours.
73 hours? I'm sorry.
And this
one
was
second,
based on
Council
the council approved a resolution for the work of this consultant.
It's
So,
19 components, sir.
okay. All right, so this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Can I see that?
Almost $200 an hour. So, 178, let's just say.
Yes, if you look on the invoice here, you'll see that it details the consulting services, which include telephonic and video meetings, access to appropriate online portals, preparation and ongoing maintenance of the project worksheet, submission of all eligible expenses, responses to requests for information, and ultimate project closeout. So this is something that we're utilizing their expertise in, not only for CARES, but we're also for our FEMA submissions, anything related to the kind of COVID dollars.
So Millennium Strategies, which so happens to be one of the key, Sorry, it's a lot of movement going on. Let me just wait a moment. Because I'm very interested in what some of the other council members, positions are going to be on this. So Millennium Strategies, which everyone knows was one of the mayor's largest supporters, through the campaign, which is fine. I have no issues with that. Who happened to get multiple jobs, which just for filing, we're not talking of just for helping to file paperwork at $78 an hour. And even if you paid an employee $20 an hour, you hired someone, you're paying, you can hire 10 people. I'm sure they probably have 5 or 6, I don't know how many people they have working there, but it's just the point. It's just a matter of how things are being done. Like, for example, it's troublesome, Madam BA, when I see a flyer that has the mayor's advertisement on it for a private fundraiser, where there's tickets that's being sold at $5,000. I'm kind of curious, who's that being directed at? Because it's obvious the services that you guys are rendering aren't being directed at the general public. And it's definitely now clear that the intent, or whomever is supposed to be the recipients, is not really the people that I'm really, from my mindset of who I'm here to service. How many people in Paterson can actually afford a $5,000 ticket? That's the first thing. The second thing is, we all as elected people, elected individuals, there is a guideline that the federal government or whomever has put in place. The Corporation Council, I need you to kind of weigh in on this, because understanding that it is another entity, a 501c4 that was formed, but it's just for the matter of semantics. Like, none of us could take contributions more than $2,600. Yet we have an open flyer that's asking for people to make donations in excess, in minimum of $1,000. So $5,000 donations. And when I think of that, I think of a couple things. I think of the individual, the group that was brought forward for the Great Falls Project, that was clearly acknowledged, that they made a $60,000 contribution to, I don't know which fund, slush fund the mayor has set up. And then you have this group, Millennium Strategies, like they might just be a phenomenal group that renders an outstanding service. But $13,000 just for clerical work? Like, you don't pay someone $13,000 for clerical work. Like, I don't know. I'll just let it rest there, because maybe I'm in a different spectrum here. I don't understand how things like this are just going through so easily. You have people who have, and I thought Corporation Council, that perception, because conspiracy is based on perception. So the perception of the public's best interest not being looked after I thought that was a factor. And the way this is running, how we have a bills list of $34,000, where $13,000 of that, more than a third, is being directed to a special interest group. Like, how can we even put that through with a clear conscience?
Council President, if I can address
I'm waiting for
this.
the floor, Council President.
We're in the middle of roll call, Madam Mayor, you can't. Councilman Mendez.
No, Council President, and when I saw this is very disturbing to me, because as we all know, this company, Millennium Strategy, is well connected politically with this administration, one of the #1 supporter for this administration. And as I see this payment of bill, I mean, perception become reality. And it's definitely disturbing to me. And the question that I have is that how we choose this company. That's the question. When do we choose this company? But before that, I mean, Councilman Jackson, I'm in totally support of you coming. I agree with you. What I see in this administration, I have not seen this in the history of the city of Paterson. Groups that are definitely openly supporting this administration and seeing this amount of money being spent and paying to this institution That's very disturbing to me. Very disturbing. We are in this community, we are in a stress right now. Definitely, and paying $180 an hour for just paperwork, it doesn't make sense. And we're sending a wrong message to our community out there. That's my main point. But based on what I see, this administration, they care less about perception, and they care less about how to do the right things. I'm just gonna leave it at that, Council President.
So we're in the middle of discussion. We're not in the middle of roll call yet. Do you want to answer?
Yes, thank you, Council President. This, as a reminder, this was a public bid process. We did go through, at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, a bid for consultant work to support us through this. This was awarded and it came through resolution for the council and was approved by the council.
Okay, any other, not, this, roll
Council
call, Madam
President,
Clerk?
Council President.
Before we vote,
Councilman Velez.
Yeah, thank you, Council President. And this is the point that I was trying to make clear in the previous payment of bills. You know, things keep on failing like that. You know, everybody has the right to vote their way. But I just want to listen to the corporate counsel if he has something to say, because what we're going to be ending is that all these companies are going to take us to some kind of court or proceeding because the payment of bill, they're not getting paid when they surrender the service. And in my understanding, if I have a contract and I was awarded a contract and I'm not getting paid for that contract, what would be the precaution on it? Or are we doing this only to set up a show and then come back and another day and approve it? Is a loss of time. But I would like to listen to the corporate counsel, what will be his legal opinion on this aspect, because if I have a company and the city X, Y, and Z honor me a contract and this body decide not to pay the bill, I gotta be taking everybody from the city up out down to court. I wanna get paid. The service was rendered. The process was doing legit. I don't know if you have something to say, corporate counsel, based on what I just stated, just to keep the record clear, that is a form of way to work in the city, or is the way to work in, because we're in political season? I don't know. But I just wanna just put that on the table.
So once again, council members, we all know that if someone performed the work, we gotta pay them. So, Councilman, once again, you're questioning the action that the council just, took. We are aware what we voted on, once again. It's gonna come back and we have to vote on it. The only issue that I have, though, and I'm gonna ask the question now, there were some payments made in the past that were, put out there without the approval of the council. What have we done? Before you answer that question is, did you release any of these checks, Mr. CFO?
No.
And that's the answer that we should hear. Until we approve something, checks should not be released. Now, in the past, you release a payout, which is not a payroll check, an employee payout payment that we questioned for over almost a year. That payment was never processed because, we said that person was not entitled to longevity.
Correct.
All of a sudden, after a year, one of our legal counsel decides to do an opinion. A check gets released without the approval of the council. Where are we with that payment?
I would have to check with Corporation Counsel if he has heard a response. The former Corporation Counsel did reach out to that individual about that payment.
Okay, have we taken any action?
That is the action that we have taken.
A letter? So we didn't approve a payment, you still pay them?
It was, Council President, it was part of a payroll run. Those runs, while you may disagree, it was part of a payroll run. Those runs are done before the payments are.
Madam BA, they're not. That's a separate check that gets cut.
This is where we're.
That's a separate check. We had this conversation in finance before. And it is funny how every time we have a conversation, things change.
No.
Because we were told in finance many times that that's not the process. That's a payout.
But that's not.
Yeah, but a buyout is always part of the.
That wasn't part of it though. That was not. We had this discussion before. We were told that it was not, that is a manual check that you cut. It's not like it was direct deposited. Right. It is a manual check that you cut.
is
Now, if
correct.
there's, let me just say something. It might be part of the regular process to cut a check for payouts, but this wasn't a regular payout. This is a payout that we question. In all the years that you've been CFO and worked in other municipalities, if I start a job here in the city, I cannot bring my years of service working, let's say in Oakland. Let's say I worked 15 years in Oakland. I cannot come here and start working here and demand longevity. Longevity have to be paid, have to be calculated based on the years that you worked here. And I don't want to relive this. All I'm saying is, the council did not approve that payment. We were told that the initial step was to send a letter. I want to know what we're going to do after that.
And Council President, I think that the challenge here in this situation is, while that is your opinion, there was a different legal opinion because the city code said things differently. The council then took action to change the city code so that it can't happen moving forward with employees hired after a certain date. But it is under the way that the city code was written, that payment was legal.
So-
And that's why there was a legal opinion to that effect.
So that's the
that
problem.
is the challenge.
Madam BA, this is the problem that we have in this city. We looked at the same code. Your legal department, your legal team looked at the same code for over a year. There has not been one time that this has been done for anyone else in this city. This city's been around for hundreds of years, right? I don't recall, I even asked your legal department to show me one instance where someone came from another town and that person was paid longevity. Longevity. And for a whole year, your legal department and your personnel director could not basically justify, during that time period, could not justify her getting the longevity through the whole year or year and a half that she was here. But then right before she leaves, we get a legal opinion that she's entitled to longevity. A check is cut before the council even discusses this. So that's the issue that I have. If it was a regular payout, right, of someone, yes, they are part of a payroll, but this is an item that we were discussing for over a year in finance, and all of a sudden, to sneak it through,
No
you
one
get
was-
a, well, how come this legal opinion was not given for anyone else? That is the problem that I have. And we
Council
could
President,
discuss this. Go
I
ahead.
mean, if we're going to
Council
talk
President.
about this, I think we have to be clear. This is regarding individuals and employees who are not covered by bargaining units, so that shrinks the pool immensely to only a handful of people. And legally, this statute was the case. No one tried to sneak this in. This was related to the person's when she retired in connection, she was out on workers' comp prior to that. So this was not something that was being addressed at the time.
So I'll pass my
So-
last comment. It is interesting how our legal opinions are usually fitting the need of something that wants to be done. Because I have noticed in all the years, I'm sure we have gotten some department heads that have come from other towns. I'm sure. This is not the first time that you have gotten a department
Maybe they didn't
head.
know that the code was written that way. I can't speak to every
The code,
situation.
what's funny is
President.
the code could never be interpreted during her tenure here. It was just interpreted in her favor right before she leaves, so she could get a payout. This is crazy. But I leave it at that. I just wanted to know where we stand with that. And Councilman Jackson.
Very
Council
good.
President, just before we move on, since I've been here, I can't speak to what's happened before, but I can assure you that everyone in my department interprets the law when I'm there, straight down the middle as it's supposed to be, and I think I've shown that consistency thus far. So I just wanted to make that record clear, and I look forward to continuing to work with the council and the administration on these matters, and I will certainly look into this issue as well.
And that's what we ask Corporation Council, and also in the future, if there's something that's been in question for over a year, I think a conversation should have been had in finance or somewhere that the decision was changed, because this was discussed not once, not two, maybe 4 times. And every time we discussed it, we always came to the conclusion that she was not entitled. The administration never showed us proof that she was entitled to the longevity.
So-
And then we get a
President.
legal opinion right before that person leaves and cuts the check. That check was issued without approval from the council. We voted no on that item. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Council President. Just very quickly for a point of clarity, because you made a statement, just want to be clear, because I don't want to have any confusion whatsoever. If I may, and Mr. CFO, if it's not appropriate, please let me know, but were you formerly a CFO of another municipality?
I work part-time, yes.
You were a part-time CFO
Yes,
for another municipality?
correct.
Okay. Which municipality is that?
Belleville?
Belleville, okay. I was unaware. I was unaware that you held the position of CFO in the past, but, so, with that being said, Council President, the onus goes right back to this council. See, because here's the deal, and listen, everyone knows, unfortunately, my emotions, my passion for the community I wear on my sleeve. So everything kind of comes right out in front. I'll be honest, straightforward. I had every intention, every notion, whenever the vote or the measure for approval of our new corporation council for the, not memorialization, what is it called? Anyway, when we were to approve his contract, I had no intention of voting in favor. Why? Because we've had 2 corporation councils now without any notice resign from this administration. That's a sign that there's something going wrong. And I've never met the gentleman, don't know who he was. From what my research, he hasn't had any much municipal experience. But I'm gonna be honest with you, my experiences with him thus far has given me a much different impression where I'm very comfortable in supporting him. So anyone that ever brings forward the notion that I'm unwilling to be negotiable or unwilling to support this administration is full of everything. Because I have been a staunch supporter when this administration came on. In fact, the former BA was willing to, it was so bad, the paper even wrote, I was coerced by a long-term relationship or friendship that we had as former football players, which is completely untrue. Once I saw that the intent was not to do the right thing by the public, and one of those things were when we hired an illegal employee who was not a resident of the community, we ignored a letter from DCA or from the Civil Service, State Civil Service Department that says this employee was not qualified to hold the position, and we continuously paid him double of what a longtime employees with college degrees, certifications, all kinds of experience and everything else, we paid this person double, almost $100,000, while we had an employee working for the city for 25 years who we were paying less than half than that. So this is another example, Council President. So I'm gonna put the onus right back on the council, because the way municipal government works, the mayor really isn't the person that's responsible for it. He's not the signing authority. The mayor appoints the signing authority. The signing authority is the BA, and the BA is responsible for all of this stuff. So when you have a check that's getting cut and there's a notion of, well, there was a legal interpretation, well, that's because the administration decided to have it interpreted in a manner in which is favorable for their decision, and they took on a position to pay someone that had no tie to the city. She had put no time in, maybe a year or so, no commitment to this community, and she walks away with a fat paycheck on the backs of taxpayers, and the BA, who is the signing authority, fails to hold the situation accountable on behalf of the community. And it's not been one issue. So this council has the ability and authority to fire her. We're the appointing authority for the BA's position. She has to be confirmed, which is the word I was looking for, by this council. And we have the ability to make that move. Have this council held her accountable? No, we have not. In fact, there's many days I sit here in the same position.
Council President.
In a solo position, asking and demanding for the best possible treatment to the public. I'll rest it there, but that's the bottom line. This council is the measure in which we hold the administration accountable for being fiscally responsible. We have wasted millions of dollars and watched millions of dollars be wasted. And when you talk about over 30% of a bills list, 30% going out to a third-party consultant for $13,000 just for some clerical work, that's embarrassing.
Councilwoman Davila.
So, Council President, I don't know, I'm feeling a little dumb right now. I really am, Council President, because I'm trying to figure out how is it that someone can leave with a payout of longevity and hasn't worked in the city?
So,
So I'm trying to understand it. I think maybe to address Corporation Counsel with the interpretation of,
Councilwoman, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but to ask that question to Corporation Counsel right now, this is a discussion we had many times.
No, I
brought
understand
this
that.
up. I brought this up because the initial vote on the first bills list failed, so I wanted to ask the question if any of the checks were released. I knew the answer should have been no, but I wanted to make sure that none of the checks were released, right? And then I took the opportunity, I remember now that there was one time that a check was released that was not approved by the council. And I just wanted to know where we stand, and that was it. So, you know, we can ask him for a legal opinion on that now.
no, I'm not asking, it just, I don't understand. He said that his office did their due diligence and,
He just came on board, though.
okay. Because I'm just trying to just figure out, again, you know, I've never heard of someone, you know, working, and to be honest, I don't know if it was a year, but the majority of the time, the person unfortunately was not working. And so how do you leave with such a big payout? And again, to just clarify, was that check, because I know we had removed that before from our bills list. Remember the discussions that we had? Was that
The check-
payout done?
Well, that's what I just said. I don't want to prolong it, but yeah, the check was released. We already had this discussion many
So
times.
the
on
check was
council.
released, so it
The check-
was?
Yes, the only thing I'm asking is what have we done? You know, we were told in a finance committee meeting that we were going to send a letter, and then we'll take it from there to see what we're going to do, to try to see if it was worth going and trying to get, you know, that money back, or, again, we don't know what action we're going to take. I just wanted to get a status.
Wow.
Could we have a roll call, Madam Clerk?
Wow.
And then we could do the public portion?
Yes, Council President. Roll call on payment of bills for $34,016.06. Councilwoman Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I know that we had voted on quite a few items, and this was one of them, and there's certain members that had not, but this is for COVID, correct?
Yes.
Right. So, and we're still in COVID, and I believe that it's getting even higher up, but we're still not out of the clear yet. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Davila?
Pass for now. I'm actually looking at something here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I mean, listen, you know, until things are done differently here, nothing will ever change. Nothing will ever change. In fact, this is the worst I've ever seen it. I've never seen this city this bad. Never. There's a shooting every day, almost. The streets are dirty. The potholes are freaking out of control. There's services that are not being rendered. It's an embarrassment. But the amount of people that continue to flock into Paterson for a payday, it continues to grow. Paterson is the home of the most non-for-profits in the entire country. It's about 350 some odd nonprofits here in the city, and they're coming every single day because they know there's an easy payday here. You solicit to the federal government to render services to, you know, challenged community, a community that refuses to really provide for its own residents. And we want to turn to everyone else instead of doing for our community ourselves. And it's something very simple, because I would be very inclined to support this COVID bill just on principle. Just on principle and just on perception. You have a group that's closely affiliated. They should have been ineligible to even participate in the bid process. But I do have confidence in Mr. Savalas, and he makes sure that things are done properly. But I still, at 30% of the bill list going to a third-party consultant, Madam Clerk, my vote is no.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kalik? No. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I've been a big supporter in every payment of bill when it comes to COVID, even though when we, at the time that we have not received the information on details about the payment to the lab, I make that recommendation to make sure that we understand what we're paying for. But at this time, when I saw this company getting 30% of the total payment of bill for this COVID bill, is very disturbing to me, very concerning to me. Everybody's known how well politically connected this institution is with this administration, and many of the things that are happening, perception becoming reality, and do the right thing is always an option. So my vote is absolutely no. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims?
And so, included in this list, there is an item that really is disturbing. And when it comes to ethical questioning, anything that has the appearance of impropriety should be a concern for everybody. With that stated, my vote is no.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez?
Once again, and I gotta say it this way, I have confidence that Mr. Ceballos and his work and the way that he do the process, the service was rendered. I listened to the administration saying that this company was mainly work is to guarantee that they get refunded and paid back or get the money back of the expenses. So the work was done, one way or the other. So my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Davila?
I'm sorry. If anybody sees a pair of glasses, they're mine. I can't find them, and I can't see. Oh, are those it? Oh. Madam Clerk, what is the vote?
Votes so far, 2 yeses, 4 nays, 1 absent.
I'm sorry?
2 yeses, 4 nays, 1 absent.
Okay. So, I went through line by line on this summary. I read each item, where the monies, who was paid, and I have a little different take on the please bear with me. On the consulting firm, I do have a little take because I do recall in conversation that one of the things that they were going to do was to assist so we can get reimbursements done in a quicker fashion. So I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna say yes to this.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. And Madam Clerk, I'm getting text messages that they can't hear you, so if you can please speak into the microphone.
Okay, thank you. Mr. President.
So, I see the importance of making this payment because we also have to bill, and try to get that money back. And you have to show the expenditure in order to get, but let me just clarify something, and I'm not defending. But, and the purchasing agent is here. If the entity cannot make a contribution more than 300 during the election year, during the election cycle, the event that is being advertised is not payable to the mayor's campaign. Is payable to a 504c3 entity. 501c4. 501c4. So in the interest of and again, we also approve a contract. The only reason I'm mentioning this, personally, I wouldn't even have entertained a discussion pertaining to the entity. This happens everywhere, right? As long as the contribution is not during the election cycle, it's not a problem. That's how that's the law, right? You following the law. You following the law. So, my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Council President. The votes are 4 yeses, 4 nays, 1 absent. We have a tie vote.
Corporation Counsel, I have a question. If I were to change my vote to an abstention, what would that do?
So yes, it passed.
So, Madam Clerk, I would like to abstain from the vote, please.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Mims, abstain, okay. The votes are 4 yeses, 3 nays, 1 abstention, 1 absent. Payment of bills in the amount of $34,016.06 is hereby adopted.
Madam Clerk, could we have the public portion?
Yes, sir. We have 3 speakers for the public portion.
Before we go to public portion, can I get a clarification from Corporation Counsel?
Sure. What clarification? Go ahead.
Is abstention vote is a yes vote per se?
Yes.
Yes, Councilman Kalik, thank you for
All right,
your
thank you for
question.
clarification.
Pursuant to Rule 14 of subsection M6, an abstention for all purposes shall be legally deemed to be and counted as an aye or affirmative vote. That's pursuant to our code.
Thank you.
So could we open the public portion, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Council President.
How many speakers do we have?
3 speakers.
Thank you.
The first speaker is Ms. Dania Martinez. Step forward.
Commissioner, welcome.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Oh, loud and clear.
Commissioner Dania Martinez. Good evening, Council President, Council members. I'm here tonight to invite you and to ask for your support. I will be having my 4th annual Women's Herstory Leading by Empowerment. Each year, I invite a panel of women to share their story of empowerment, and I hope to count on your support. It will be May 2nd. It will be held at A Studios at 176 East 7th Street. All the information is on my Facebook page. Tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite, or you can message me on Facebook or contact me on my cell phone, 973-861-9253. Thank you.
Council President.
Thank you.
The next speaker, Mr. President, is Atif Coleman.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are y'all doing today? As always, I come here, I have prepared remarks, but unfortunately, today's meeting kind of set me off balance after learning some new things, so excuse me. But I just want to thank everyone who voted no for the bills. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So I want to thank you for doing that. I also want to talk about the zoning, especially on Market Street. I think I sent a couple of you a video this past Friday. I was dodging styrofoam and plastic walking up Market because of the furniture stores, leaving furniture and stuff out, and it was in the rain. So there is no ordinance on Market. It's just a free fall. Today, I don't know if you noticed, Mundella has had about 15 to 20 queen-size mattresses on Market Street, and it was a tight squeeze, so some people were in the street to get around. So we really need to, and I think at this point, I think it's safe to say that this administration is really doesn't have control over the city. And I think the onus is on the city council to hold this administration accountable for the decrease in service, the lack of service, the lack of control. I just have no faith in the mayor. I was promised that Hulsman, and there was a trailer there would be cleaned up by the mayor earlier this week. That wasn't done. I'm told now it's in constituent services. So I know if I'm having a hard time working with the mayor to clean a trailer, I'm sure other people are having a hard time dealing with him. So it's clear that this administration has lost touch and a handle just from listening and watching the BA as well. I'm really losing a lot of faith in this administration, and I really need you guys to really look at this administration carefully. Create a task force, some sort of, I don't know, a group, something to just really look at this and highlight a lot of the mistakes, because the people need to know that this administration is failing us, especially in the first ward. There is a major rift between the mayor and my councilman. And I think it's more on the mayor, but I'm not sure. But there is a big rift, and it's costing us residents in the first ward. Nothing is getting done. We are ignored on a consistent basis. So something has to get done. Someone has got to sing Kumbaya, work together, but at the end of the day, when you guys are fighting, we're out getting victimized and the city's crumbling. So I just need you to please step up with this administration. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Ms. Tanisha Green. Tanisha Green.
Council President, seeing no more.
Move to close.
Close.
Third.
Moved by Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call to close the public portion. Councilwoman Cotton.
No, you didn't even hear me. Yes.
Councilwoman Davila.
Commissioner Martinez, it was very nice seeing you here today. I look forward to seeing you come more often. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
I agree. Commissioner, thanks for visiting. Obviously, you know I'm always holding you accountable for the work that you do with our children, so I appreciate that. Mr. Coleman, for a point of clarity, two things. One, there is no fight. I have no fight with anyone. I'm only fighting for the rights of, for the best interests of our constituents. And trust me, it wouldn't measure up to what we call the fight anyway. But if you want to get the mayor's attention, maybe you should hold a press conference down on Holzman in front of that trailer, and I assure you he'll show up, because it seems like that's the only reason he finds anything to show up for, you know. And the fact that it's not a fact, but the fallacy that the first ward is suffering anymore because of a miscommunication in relationships. Somebody said that the other day. They said, well, you know, if you had a better relationship with the mayor, maybe the first ward wouldn't be so bad. Well, there's mirroring circumstances in other wards, and those council persons have a phenomenal relationship with the mayor. They do whatever he asks, and he gets whatever he was looking for out of them, and yet the condition of the wards is the same. It's the entire city. It's the entire city outside of a certain segments that really are self-sustainable, but they get the extra attention because maybe they're doing something else that my constituents are not capable of doing. But with that being said, I have no reason to have any personal vendetta against any person. I just want people to do the job, and then that includes the members of this council, because I'm telling you, I'm pressing the issue. I have to take my hat off to those former council members who was here during the tenure of Jeff Jones. And this calls for it more so than it ever did before. This BA needs to be called to a committee of the whole. Her job needs to be terminated. She's done nothing positive for this community since she's been the BA. And everything is all detrimental to the community. She's the signing authority, and she does not want to own that position. And this council needs to stand up. We need to stop changing our positions just to accommodate this administration, which is only hurting the community. And you watch it happen here all the time. I'm getting tired of seeing it. We're measuring things. Oh, let me pass around and see how many votes are going to go here. Let me count the votes, and maybe I can stand up and do a no vote. I've never done that, never. Never have I sat here, I don't care who the mayor was, I don't care who the BA was, I have never negotiated my vote, I've never changed my vote. If it's not good for the community, I've never voted in favor of it. I've stood firm 100% of the time. And I challenge anyone, here, there, or any place else, to prove me wrong. When have I compromised my vote and what was best for the community? But I can tell you, I'll point it out. I'll show you the video where I've watched other people do it, and it's sickening, because we have this community is suffering, and we're paying the price for political games that's being played, while people are coming here getting richer. Madam Clerk, my vote is no.
Thank you, Councilman.
It's symbolic.
I was gonna say, closing the public portion.
Councilman Kalik.
What are we voting on?
Close public portion.
We're voting to close the public portion.
My vote is yes.
Stand with me, Councilman of the Second Ward. 1-2 punch. Oh, no.
Councilman Kalik, what's your?
Yes, my vote is yes to close the public portion.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
We have a very short agenda, but it's going to be a long night. Commissioner Danny Martinez, I look forward to support you in your event. I'm glad to see you out there in the community. You're doing an outstanding job for the kids. Just keep pushing and keep working hard for our community. My vote is yes to close the public portion, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims?
Once again, congratulations, Commissioner Martinez. I know you already got my payment that I made for your event. I'm looking forward to attending this year. And to Mr. Cole, I saw our councilman of the 5th Ward. He's already written it down, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'm sure he's going through there tonight. So if I know him that well with his flashlight. All right? My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Velez?
Commissioner Danny Martinez, I didn't have the opportunity to go to your swearing. I know it was virtual. Congratulations, you did a great job. I had faith on your campaign. I had faith the way you was doing your job and sending a message to those parents to make sure that they elected you. Congratulations again. I know you're going to do a great job, and you're going to represent that commission like anybody want to expect to see it. And that will be for everyone in the Board of Education, because the city of Paterson is not a race, it's not a flag, it's the education process. Mr. Gentleman that spoke about Market Street, if you didn't mention what section, stores or whatever, probably Market Street is a long stretch. I was all, correct. But when they come here to the podium and say Market Street had more for the 5th Ward than the 1st Ward. So I was already looking to see where it was. So, but this is the point I want to make clear. And probably the BA had to tighten belts. CI, police, they all fall into the administration. So they are the one that's supposed to tighten their belts and do what they're supposed to do. If I have people blocking, bystanders blocking sidewalks, and we call headquarters because the business wants the sidewalk clear because they're blocking the sidewalk, police go there and do what they have to do. If it's something with community improvement, they have to go there and do what they have to do. So, Madam BA, it's a clear message that belts have to be tight. And I always say, and I'm going to wrap up after a half hour of listening to my councilman on the 1st Ward, zero tolerance is the key. And even that he said that he's symbolic, no, and I agree on something. When he vote no to close the public portion, he's telling the public out there, continue coming here, bringing your concern, because we want to listen to you, to things could get addressed. And saying that for the first time in the life that I'm being councilman here, I gotta vote no. I got with you,
Thank
right?
you, Councilman. Council President.
Why do we have a need to, to basically interpret what the actions of our colleagues? In
Well,
the interest- in
Council
the-
President,
in
I got
the-
freedom of
in
speech.
the-
I could say whatever
in
I
the-
want.
In the interest of continuing this meeting, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Council President. The votes are 2 nays, 1 absent, and 6 yes. Public portion is hereby closed.
Madam Clerk, could we do the consent agenda?
Yes, Council President. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. The items listed under the consent agenda are numbers 1 through 9. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any council member, and if so, removed, be treated as a separate matter.
So move.
Second.
Moved by?
Both of us.
Moved by Councilwoman Davila.
And I follow her.
Councilwoman Davila and second by Councilman Velez. Roll call.
And
Madam
Mims
Clerk.
and Mendez.
And Mims and Mendez. Anyone else? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call and on the consent agenda, items 1 through number 9. Councilwoman Cotton? Yes. Councilwoman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let the record reflect on item number 7 on the consent agenda, resolution authorizing an award of contract to Dr. Douglas Mendez for a part-time medical consultant for the Department of Health Department. For the Health Department, we're not related, even though we have the last name, but there's no relationship whatsoever. So my vote is yes on the consent agenda, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman
No
Mims?
family work.
That was a good save, Councilman Mendez. You know, that would have been highlighted. Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez?
I would be concerned if it was Dr. Domingo Alex Mendez, but it's not. There's Alex Mendez not there, so my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Council President?
Yes.
The votes are 8 yeses, 1 absent. Consent items are hereby adopted.
Number 10, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Council President. 10. Item number 10 is a resolution approving renewal of taxi cab registrations for Quick Taxi LLC of 168 17th Avenue, Paterson, New Jersey, 07504, mailing address, and 68-76 Barclay Street, Paterson, New Jersey, 07503, parking location, resolution number 21:1.
So
Move.
Second.
Move.
Second.
Move. She haven't finished it.
Council President, I moved item number 10.
Did you finish, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay. Moved by Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilman Velez, and Councilwoman Mims.
I second that too.
Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Might as well.
Roll call on item number 10, Councilwoman Cotton. Councilwoman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, pass? My computer's still frozen.
He passed.
He passed.
He passed?
Passed.
Okay. Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. But before my vote, the reason why I decided to second also this is because there's been a lot of back and forth with some of the taxi company in the city. And I just want to say this, as a governing body, and I will speak for myself specifically, and as a business owner for many years, I think that our responsibility is to vote on what we see in front of us, our responsibility to support local business. And once we receive a resolution in front of us, it's because the clerk department, they did all the job, all the due diligence, and the staff to get it done to be in front of us. Once we vote, it's because all the paperwork and everything is in order. This happening for this company or any other company. And we rely on the clerk department to make sure that they collect all the documentation. And this go for a lot of people out there that constantly asking questions. Now there's another side. If any company is breaking the law, there's an enforcement there, there's a department to to hold everybody accountable for what they have to do in the city, and that's fall into that department. So with that being said, my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims?
When the owner of a business comes in and do their due diligence, pay and do the licensing procedure, and shows up to the meeting, you want to support those business owners. Our businesses are going through a lot during the pandemic, so my heart is that they will continue to prosper and they will continue to stay in the great city of Paterson. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez?
If we look at the service, core service that they give to the community, there should be more taxi company in the city of Paterson. They've been in a lot of competition with Uber and Lyft. They've been struggling with a lot of situation, and I could say 100% of those taxi drivers resides in Paterson, and they bring in food to the table. I wish we could do more for them, but if we eliminate all the taxi companies around the city of Paterson, then we're not going to have a taxi inspector and bringing revenue to other ways, right? So I think that it's going to get improved every day, and I know they do the best for the city and the constitution of the city of Paterson. So my vote is yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and I'm glad I did take a moment to pass, because I wasn't sure which item it was brought forward on. One, as a business owner, I do understand the elements of businesses, but I also know the necessity for accountability. And part of my concern is I've been included in this email strand that has some very disturbing context. So Corporation Counsel, I know we're in the middle of roll call, we can't have a dialogue, but I'm hopeful. I was told, and I'm not sure how true it was, that there was a order from you, directly your office, for an investigation to take place from the Detective Bureau. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I do think it warrants these concerns, because on the email strand, it was the Office of Public Integrity was also copied on it, and just because based on how this administration has continuously done things, I don't want to find ourselves and me going along with the group in a position to receive a lawsuit down the line. So I would like for some of these line items to be answered to. I understand that there's a number of cabs on the road that this council has put a measure in place to make sure that cabs over a certain age are no longer in circulation. I want to make sure that all those cabs that are following those guidelines. I have ridden in cabs myself before. This was complaints that we had a few years back, where the meters aren't working properly, and it's actually a state mandate that they do. So, I'm just a little concerned, because I understood when I spoke to the director, he said, "Oh yeah, wait a minute. We had to curb a few vehicles. So if we had to sideline a few vehicles in the middle of what we're doing, our process and approval, then that means that there's some additional oversight that's necessary." So I'll follow up with you with that down the line. Obviously this measure is going to pass, so there's no need for me not to support it. But I am concerned about all of the practices, because again, there has been a failure on the part of this administration when it comes to enforcement. And that's enforcement across the board, from community improvements, from pulling inspectors, and now taxi cab services. When I'm getting these emails, I don't want to be a part of an email strand where a member of the public is pointing some things out and we just ignore the cry of the public. But at this moment, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President.
Yes.
Thank you. The votes are 8 yeses, 1 absent. Item number 10 is hereby adopted.
Number 11, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Council President. Item number 11 is a resolution appointing Angel Medina Guzman as a commissioner to the Paterson Parking Authority, sponsored by Councilman Alex Mendez. and it's a city council resolution 21:187.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilwoman Davila and Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 11, Councilwoman Cotton.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. I just want to say congratulations to Angela Medea Guzman being appointed by our councilman here in the city of Paterson, Alice Mendez, to our Paterson Parking Authority. I know that you would do an excellent job, and it's about working together. So with that being said, congratulations, Angela. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Davila.
Señor Medina, felicidades. My vote is yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to say that it's definitely a great honor for me to appoint Angel Medina Guzman as the Commissioner for the Paterson Parking Authority, a very responsible Pattersonian who's been in Paterson for many, many years, investing in our community, in business, and supporting our community. So I know he will do an outstanding job in collaboration with the Director of the Parking Authority. So congratulations. Felicidades, señor Ángel Medinas. And my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims.
Councilman Mendez, you selected a great guy. I know he's gonna do a great job. Angel, congratulations. Commissioner Guzman, you have a really great family. You're doing great business in my neighborhood, and I appreciate that. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. President.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The votes are 7 yeses, 2 absent. Item number 11 hereby adopted.
Number 13, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Council. Item number 13 is a resolution addressing the renewal of a junkyard license for Barbara Barnes for a pocket license. It's Finance Resolution 21:181.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on resolution number 13. It's Resolution 21:189. Councilwoman Cotton. Yes. Councilwoman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman Mims.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
The votes are 7 yeses, 2 absent. Item number 13 is hereby adopted.
Number 14, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 14 is a resolution authorizing the award of contract to J.A. Alexander, Inc. for the 2020 State Aid Roads Resurfacing Program, bid number 21.13 for the Engineering Division of the Department of Public Works. It's a Public Works Resolution 21:190.
So moved.
Second.
So,
Moved
moved
by-
by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Davila Mims. Anyone else?
Discussion.
Discussion. Councilwoman Davila.
Just quickly. I believe I addressed to the director about this, but I'm gonna address the BA. Where are we with Carlisle? It was my understanding that that was a street that was already approved, and I don't know, when speaking to, not director,
He was on this.
DPW director, but I know we have Councilman Khalid.
I believe he was on this list, but.
No, that's what I'm saying, so
Somewhere I
then,
don't see it.
and then it's removed, so they present. Yes. That's my point. My point is that I want to know what's the status. If you want us to continue to support, right, and I want to, because her streets are in dire need.
Carlisle wasn't on the
So,
state aid
Council
list.
President, can I get an answer, please?
Well, you have the director here. Go ahead,
Carlisle was on
Director
the,
Rodriguez.
Carlisle was on the citywide, not the state aid. This is state aid.
So my question is, where are we with it?
I can get back to you about the exact timeline. But I do know that PSE&G projects have held up a lot of our projects, so I can check and see if that's one of them.
Well, I know Carlisle is definitely not one of them, but please, I'd like the status of that.
I have a question. Madam BA, I know we hire an engineer. When we have items like this, do you make it part of his, I guess, agreement for him to be here? He's a department head. If you have items like this, I know you have the DPW director that work closely with him. Is he required to be here when we have items like this? Which is not often, but.
We do ask him to come. I know for this one, I think the director was going to manage. He's not a department head, he's a division head within DPW.
Thank you for correcting me, yes, thank you.
Council President.
Councilman Velez, then Councilwoman Cotton.
Director, or BA, I know this is the 2020 state resurfacing. Do we have a status on the 18 and 19? If it was completed, I know we was behind.
It's not 100% complete yet. I'll get you the status. I'll send it to the council. I'll send it through the BA's office too.
Correct. Madam BA, through the chair, Madam BA, any chance, I know that we had a wish list in the past, any chance the administration did intention or move forward with getting an update with PC&G to see when they're going to take opportunity of this beautiful weather that we're going to have in this year
Council President.
to
You will continue, Councilman Velez. You're addressing the
to see
DA.
if they responded with a schedule. A lot of my roads in the Fifth Ward was resurfaced, and they came back less than a month and did all that job from PC&G. And now they supposed to do curb to curb. Can you tell us if you already made that approach with PC&G and make sure that I'm not going to single out only the Fifth Ward, the whole entire city where the PC&G have worked?
Council President, yes, I do know that that is one of the items that Fred is working on, and in particular, and he sent an email to me today that I haven't been able to forward to the council yet, but he is mentioning that there are two of the contracts, both the 2019 state aid and the 2020 state aid, are being impacted by this delay with PSE&G.
So when PC&G is going to step forward to complete those streets? Because
do.
it's already,
So-
the tryout about that 2 months or 3 months to make sure that the connection was okay is already gone. They did it while COVID, they did it while the winter, now we're in spring, so the tryout is already done. So when they're going to step forward and resurface? That's what I want to know.
So Councilman, I just want to put in a request before you go, Councilwoman. I want to put a request to administration. I'm sure PSE&G has a list of, roads that they're going to repave in Paterson, right? I want you guys to request that and provide us a list.
Correct.
I also want to get a list of what we're planning to do, and also I need the CFO to tell us which ordinances are still out there that we could utilize. For example, if they're there for a purpose, then I need him to specify, what those roads are. And if we already finished with those roads and there is money left, then we should have that conversation in finance to see how we could reallocate the funding to do to address other needs in the city pertaining to the roads. Thank you. Councilman Cotton, then Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to say to the Director of DPW, Mr. Rodriguez, now this resurfacing contract is for 2020. When do you think it might get done? 2 years from now? Because they don't get done, because this is 2020, we're in 2021 already. It might get done in 2022. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We'll get back to you on the start date for this.
Say that again?
So we'll get back to the start date.
Oh, you have to get back to me?
Yes, that's what
Oh,
I'm saying, yeah.
you know what, I just want to say to everyone out there in TV land, Fourth Ward, citywide, I mean, we vote on this, but it don't get done until a year later. It don't get done until 2 years later. And that's why I think sometimes we get so confused. This is a state one, then we have a city one, and then we gotta have a public service one. And what I'm afraid of right now, to you, everyone out there, plus we got Passaic Valley Water, who's gonna get ready to dig up to change lines to go into homes for lead. So why would I wanna pave my street and then they're gonna dig it back up to put the lead pipes in for those houses that got lead coming really bad into their house? And now we got the federal government and we're trying to get money from them because the average cost to change the lead pipe from curb to your house is running $4,100, $4,500. Most constituents homeowners don't have that kind of money. So when I think I've been here for 8 years and I've seen it. I waited and waited for a street to get on the list, and then it gets on the list, but then it takes 2 years, it takes 3 years before it gets done. I just needed to share that with you out there, what I have seen of what's been happening. And with public service digging, Verizon digging, and now we have Passaic Valley Water digging to change lead lines. We got a lot on our plate. I just needed to share that, Council President. I just need to share that because I'm always looking at these streets, and I can already look at these streets here, and I know what ward they're in. I automatically know. The first ward got 3, the fourth ward got 2, the third ward got 3, the sixth ward got 1. So I can look at streets and tell you what part of the cities that the ward that they're in. And sometimes we vote today, it might not happen for 2 more years. That's what I need to tell everyone out there.
We could use it
Thank
for
you.
election.
So, Councilman Mendez, and let's try to end the discussion there.
I'll make my comment during the roll
Right,
call.
that's
That was a
perfect.
request.
Perfect.
All right. Let's move
Madam
on.
BA?
I just want to add one thing, because there was a question about timing, and then looking at Fred's email, which I'm going to share. He did note that PSE&G notified the city on March 25th of this year, so just a few weeks ago, that their gas main upgrade work will conflict with some of this work. And so that's why there might be a little bit of a delay. But we are still moving forward with the contract, but he's trying to get that new schedule, and we'll have it to you as soon as possible.
Madam BA, and we're gonna do the roll call, but that's why I asked, right? I've been asking for 2 years that we need to be in constant communication with them, because what I notice is a lot of times we've paved the roads and then they go break them up, and not because of an emergency. It was part of the plan the whole time to break the street. It is the simple things that we need to do. We need to plan things out. And we need to be proactive, and this is the problem. Something as simple as contacting an entity to see what their plans are, we have failed to do that also.
No,
and not just
yeah,
this, I
but-
mean, this happened for a long time.
But Council President, that's not what's happening here. Like that, and he notes here, we provided PSE&G with this street paving list for this particular 2020 back in May of last year, and they've been meeting all along. And Fred has been really good about making sure that they do have these ongoing conversations. So the information, clearly decisions were still made, but we had provided them with our information May 4th, 2020, and have been following up since then.
But
I think this was something that was a surprise to all.
We actually need the information from them. I know we've been giving it to them. We actually need them from them so we could adjust our plans. That's more important than us just giving it to them, because they're not going to stop breaking the roads just because we paved them. They're going to break them no matter what. So it is us that need to modify our plan if that's the intent for them to break them.
Right.
Could we do a roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Council President. Roll call on item number 14, which is resolution authorizing the award of contract to J.A. Alexander, Inc. for the 2020 State Aid Road Resurfacing Program. It's bid number 21.13 for the Engineering Division of the Department of Public Works. Resolution 21:190.
We did it.
We already
We did
moved
that
it.
already. I just
Yeah.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Council President, but this J.L. Alexander, is this the first contract they're getting with us?
We're in roll call now.
I understand that, but I needed, is this the first contract?
Roll call.
You can't
Well,
answer
pass,
questions.
pass.
Okay.
I just want to know if this is the
Thank
first
you.
contract, because there's some
Councilwoman-
companies out
Just
there
get it on the
that are
side.
horrible.
Councilwoman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
So, for a point of clarity, I mean, I think that everyone pretty much does whatever they want to do. We have an ordinance in the books that talks about the need or the inability to close the road before 9 a.m. That's totally been ignored by everyone here, the police department, all these entities doing road work, road construction. The only reason I'm bringing it up, I know I spoke to you earlier, Corporation Counsel, but this wasn't on your watch, the previous watch. The BA was here, had a discussion with her, Director Rodriguez. I have a number of residents that their vehicles were towed at 7:30 a.m. Their vehicles were, one, illegally towed. They were issued summonses, and also some of them lost a day's pay. So I'll continue to work with the Corporation Counsel to get you that information so we can make sure that these residents are reimbursed. But I also would like to make sure, because on another note, Council President, just for a point of clarity, I can tell you this with the utmost certainty. Not one request that I've made to this administration, this entire tenure, has been answered to. I mean, some people are calling, anyway, I won't go there. But anyway, I requested at the last meeting for a list of all the summonses that was written to the garbage company. Now, we have this measure coming up on the agenda. Not one piece of information was provided to me. And I would think that information would be pertinent to us voting. And so with this item, you know, we made multiple requests to have certain things done certain ways. So when these companies are committing these infractions, now the city taxpayers have to go back and reimburse a resident whose vehicle was illegally towed, who was issued a summons illegally, who lost a day's pay. We should be passing that surcharge on to the vendor, but we never charge the vendors. But I'll, rest it there. Anyway, Madam Clerk, just for purpose, my vote is no.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kalik?
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and I yield my time just to move fast and quick, and Council President took my 2 minutes, so I'm gonna take 2 minutes plus your 2 minutes, Council President. So, but I'll be brief. And Madam BA, if I have your attention for a minute, as you recall, Madam BA, I send you a list. This is how the third ward looks, and in not all the streets that we have on the list are, only on the third ward. Those are the list of all the roads that need to be fixed in the third ward. Now, the yellow one, they are in critical condition. I did an assessment in the third ward. Also, I include, I start with River Street that is in the third ward, and also in the fourth ward, which is one of the streets that are in the most terrible condition. So now, the reason why I did this, Madam BA, is because this is the recommendation that I have for the administration. We should have a master plan of all the roads that need to be fixed. Now, the one that are not in yellow line, they're in a better condition, a better shape. But now you will know that in the future, those are the next online to be fixed. If we will have something like this citywide, we will combine this list with what PNCG is doing now and in the future, Paseo Valley Water Commission and all those entities that are planning to fix and change those gas lines in the city. And that will avoid a lot of those companies opening a road once they're fixing. This is something that is not impossible. This is in the third ward, but we could do it in the rest of the city. And this is going to be a great idea for the administration. And you're going to be working in collaboration with those entities. Now, the administration make a mistake. You guys fixed 23rd Avenue and East 36 behind the supermarket. The only thing you see in that road are truck trailers and people dump all kind of garbage there because there's no houses around there. And that's what's fixed with city funding. And that's very concerning. And the only reason why we make that mistake, or the administration make that mistake, is because they don't have this list, they don't have this massive plan to follow. What's next? What's the street that we're gonna fix next? Now, I make this list because I also mentioned to you that we are on the way of receiving $63.7 million. You hear a lot of council members requesting different things. I think that we have to pay attention of all the condition of the road in the entire city of Paterson, because it's very concerning. Now, before my vote, there's close to $5 million left from the resurfacing project, from the $38 million. I make that request to you, Council President, for the next workshop. I would like to have that discussion on the floor. What happened with that almost $5 million left that we have from the resurfacing project, Madam BA? If you could provide that information to us, because there's almost $5 million on the table that we need to know how we're gonna spend the money, plus whatever we have over there. So I'm looking forward to have that discussion with our director on the next workshop. And with that being said, my vote is yes.
Thanks,
On 14.
Councilman. Councilwoman Mims.
Thank you, Councilman Mendez. And so I just want to read off, first of all, let me thank the administration for the streets I see on this list that I advocated for. East 42nd Street for 3 years, and I see it on this list. North First Street, Hillman Street, and Bergen Street are some of the streets, and I want to thank the administration for making sure that these streets are definitely on this list. Also, I want to add, I see the administration is talking, Madam BA.
Yes.
I know there's been a request. We've been talking about River Street for a long time, probably even before I came to the council. So I want to add that to the $63.7 million wish list. The repaving of the sewer infrastructural issue. It's not a repaving issue. It's a sewer infrastructure issue of River Street. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Velez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You know, to the public out there, you know, $63 million was assigned for the federal government and came with a list of instruction where to spend it. Huh?
If I can keep going.
Don't rush and take my time because I came from vacation. Okay, you care.
Council member, let him use his 2 minutes, come on.
Yeah, please. You know, came with some instruction and real detail on it, where to spend it. You know, which in that list will allow us to spend in rural resurfacing. And we have to be realistic. It's a strict money for some purpose, some things that have to be done. But if it's possible, amen. I just want to announce that 19th Avenue, that stretch from Market Street to East 27 is going to be resurfaced. I was reading here on the be further resolved that this contract should be in effect from written notice to proceed. All work required for substantial completion of the project should be completed in 120 calendar days, and entire work of the project should be completed in 150 calendar days. So if we approve it today, they should be digging those streets and do the job as they stated in this contract. Should be 4 months and a half. You know, companies, when they go to do resurface or road job, they get a performance bond, they get a bond, and they don't want to spend more money paying those bond and the performance bond, because they will spend more money if they keep putting those insurance into a project. So it's the best interest of them to complete it because they don't spend more money. So based on this, I have faith that before falls comes in, those roads are paved. Now wait until election time in 2024 for it. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman.
No, 24 because she said.
Councilwoman Cotton? No, you passed.
Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. President.
So, Madam BA, so River Street, you don't have to put in your list because already, we've spoken about that many times, right? As long as we're talking about the $63 million, we're not ready for that discussion yet. We need to see what the guidelines are
Right.
and what we could use them on. I know we have a wish list, but why have a wish list that you cannot basically bring to fruition, right? So as soon as we get the guidelines, then we could have that conversation. If that money is available for infrastructure, the conversation that we had previously is that we've been waiting so long for River Street. This is a great opportunity. And even without the $63 million, I asked the administration that it is irresponsible for what the city has done all these years, that because the cost is high to do the sewer and the resurfacing for River Street, that is not okay not to have a plan in place. So we need to do it, even if we do $2 million a year or whatever the plan may be, even if we include some of that money in the state aid application, but River Street needs to be addressed. That's one. The idea that Councilman Mendez brought up, I'm glad he brought that up again. We had a conversation, and this is another thing that I'm talking about, that a lot of times we ask for things and they don't come, they just don't get done. We asked that before you were even BA, Madam BA, that we put up more than once, you were in finance, Councilman Kalik, that because I've seen what has happened with some of the roads, even before this administration, right? Some roads get fixed that don't even have potholes sometimes. You need to do, just like other cities do an assessment of all the roads in the whole city and assign a number based on condition. And that, you use that information to put a capital plan together. Not, let me fix these roads because there is a lot of votes in that street, but based on a need, right? You also submit your state aid application based on that need. It's called planning. And if we don't have the staff to do it, then you're gonna hire someone to do it, and then we could have our staff maintain it. Because you have, everyone drives around, you have DPW driving around. They could report a street to the once that list is done, it has to be maintained. They could report. We have people that work in the streets and drive around. You have the taxi inspector here, he drives around the street, DPW. So, but it needs to be done. It's important that we do it, Madam BA. Now, do you have an idea? Well, I can ask you, we're in the middle of roll call. Maybe that's a question for later. We want to get an idea of when we could anticipate getting some type of information on the allowable use of that $63 million that we're getting. That way, we could sit down. We need to be part of that discussion. We don't want the same thing that happened with the tax credits. I know the tax credit didn't have anything to do with us. That was the decision. Legally, we did not have a say in how those funding will be used. But hopefully, we are included in this decision with the $63 million. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Council President. The votes are 7 yeses, 1 nay, 1 absent. Item number 14 is hereby adopted.
Council President, if I could just speak very briefly.
Sure.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for clarifying that about River Street. I think it is something that all of us agree to, and I have mentioned that before, that's #1 project for any funding that comes from this. And to Councilman Velez's point, we don't know if road resurfacing is part of the guidelines yet. We do know that sewer is. So there are certain bullet-pointed bits of information that have been released from the bill, but as the Treasury guidelines come forward, then we'll be able to have this fuller conversation. It was on a 60-day notice that we should be having them, so we should have them literally any day, so that we can start that conversation. And obviously, it is something that we want to have with the council. And then on the road, the point you just made, Council President, about the road assessment, that is something that we have budgeted for as part of this year's budget. And so once we're moved to adoption, we'll be able to go out, do a consultant piece on that, and then, like you said, then we would be able to use that moving forward.
So I stand
So the
corrected.
planning is-
I appreciate that you took into account the request that we have, in finance requested. So I appreciate that. So, I got to give you credit where credit is due. I didn't know that you actually budgeted. I know you say you would. I just didn't know it was in the works. But and not to prolong the discussion, if this bill actually covers the sewage portion of repair of River Street, then let's plan to include maybe River Street in the capital plan, because we
Yeah.
don't have any road resurfacing. What I was told last time, when I questioned how come we don't have any road improvements in the capital plan, is because we have so many things pending that even if we put the money there, it was not gonna get done this year anyway. But it's something to think about. We could discuss it in finance.
Actually, the River Street is one of the ones on the list for
No.
the citywide.
No.
Council President, the
Okay.
we do have road resurfacing on a previous bond for River Street.
Good, good.
So we would, and we also have a plan, even if we can't use some of this money, but for infrastructure bank.
So council members, no, we are not in roll call. Madam BA asks for the floor after the vote. We're not on roll call. We haven't taken the next item yet. We will be taking the next item right now. Madam,
The next-
Madam, do you call the vote, Madam
Yes.
BA? I mean, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing number 15 right now.
Okay. The next item is item number 15. It's a resolution authorizing the renewal of contract with Suburban Disposal, Inc. for the collection of solid waste, rebid 17.30 for the Department of Public Works. It's Resolution 21:191.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez.
Discussion.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Council President. And on item 15, Madam BA, now we have the director here. We have our purchasing agent here, Harry. I went through the resolution. We clearly understand that we're going for one more year. We're gonna get into a contract with the same company, which is everybody's been talking about Roselli for the longest. Now, after we got the assessment and the study from the expert, we have no choice for one. The only choice that we have is 1 year, and next year we have to go out for a bid. Now, taking in consideration COVID and all the situation, it was not a smart idea to go out and look for another company. So until I think for next year we're gonna be stronger, we're gonna be ready. Now, something that I noticed is that the complaint from Roselli, they're just been going down. And the only reason why is because we holding this company accountable. I know the director, and I want Madam BA to comment on this, because we all need to understand, this is the only choice that we have. We go out for 1 year, and then next year, we're going out for a bid for the full term. Now, we have less complaint because we're holding this company accountable. And my point is this: we could hire any company out there, but if we're not following up with them, if we're not enforcing the contract and we don't holding them accountable, we're not gonna get the service that we've been paying for. And that's what has been happening with Roselli. They've been sloppy. They've not been doing the work. And after we start holding them accountable, bringing the owner into the DPW committee meeting and following up on every phone call by any complaint, they've been getting the job done in a much better way. So with that being said, that's what we're expecting with any other company. PNC&G, we've been talking about forever, and there's a law in place that they have to fix a road with the same standard of quality than the original asphalt, but they don't do it, and we don't follow up on that. It's the same thing. So with that being said, Director, Madam BA, you want to comment on that before we?
No, you don't want to say nothing.
May I say something, Council President? Are you gonna wait for her to respond? Okay.
Madam BA?
Sure, yes, Councilman, and yes, we agree. This is something that we are taking very seriously, and we appreciate the follow-up with the committee. It's something that our Chief of Staff has been doing as well, and we know that this whole year is essentially another test run for them. And I think there are some updates. I don't know if Director, I think there's now like an additional supervisor on the ground from the company, if you might be able to share any of those details.
Yes, they have, there's 2 supervisors in Paterson now. At least one of the owners is in Paterson 1 day a week now. Della's in constant communication with the owners of Roselli. Any complaints go directly to the owners and not to the supervisors. So we're handling everything on a day-to-day basis in real time.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes, also we have to understand that the company that's serving City of Paterson, that's the basically only company out there that could carry the loads of such a city as Paterson. We don't have that many disposal companies out there. They'll come, big, or whatnot. What I have understood from our purchasing agent, what's that agent? What's his name that we
Wayne
had?
DeFeo?
Yes, yes. That if we go out on a bid, there's a probability of our contract going up 19% or more.
Right, he said
So
that.
I think we should try it with this company another year, and we need to work with them and move forward. Next year, hopefully everything, the COVID go away and everything calm down, and we could get other companies come in as well. Thank you.
Council President?
Councilwoman Cotton, then Councilman Jackson.
Okay, thank you. I would like I need to ask, you know what, this is only for one more year. Listening to the consultant that was there the week before, even if we did try to go out to bid, it could go up 20%. Right now, they're not even, the assembly lines are working to make garbage trucks, but the back orders are so backed up with equipment and things that are needed from all over the country, not just say this New Jersey, but all over the country. Everything is like behind. I just needed to say to Harry, our purchasing agent, Suburban has been with the city of Paterson for how many years?
On this particular contract, this would be the 5th year.
The 5th year.
Yes.
And what my question is that I remember that we went out to bid, nobody bid it but them. We threw the bid out as council members, and they came back and nobody still bid it for the contract.
Yes.
As Councilman Kalik said, the city of this size, with the amount of garbage, but, for them to, the contract went up from 4,320,000 to 20 to 21. Now it's going to go to 4,400,000 to 21 to 22, which our contract ends June of 30th of 2022. But the idea is that I'm not sure how many other disposable companies that are out there that can handle. I think we get 10 trucks a day coming into our city. I'm not quite sure how many workers. I would love to see, probably what would have happened is maybe during the year that the city can try to put together something. We need to buy at least 15 garbage trucks. We need to have at least 40 employees to take a load like what we have now to do this. But I just want to say to you, Harry, that for the last 5 years that Roselli's been the contract with the city of Paterson, no one else has bid it, except for one company, I believe.
Yes, the first time we went out for this contract, there were 2 companies, Galaxy and Roselli. And then when we rebid it, there was only Roselli. So, in fact, under the old administration, it was Roselli only, and because of the price was high compared to the cost that we have, we went out to bid, and he was again the only one.
Right. I just want to say to the residents, when something is not right, make the call right away. Don't wait till the next day. Make the call right away to the Department of Public Works or to someone that something is not right. If you make that call right away, I find that Roselli do their best to respond when you call them right away. I find that they do respond. Not the next day, but the same day that it happens, you need to make that report that day. So with that being said, what do you say?
You're wrapping it up. Go ahead. I was going to ask you to wrap it up.
Council President, like you just go on and on and on. Come on, stop. I just want to make it clear out there to everyone.
Let's finish up here. Let's finish
they are.
nicely.
Say that again.
No, I'm sorry, Councilwoman. You can continue.
Continue.
I just want to make it clear that And you said it, Councilman Mendez, that they are responding more than they have before of things that, and sometimes they might be looking at, what, Paterson is a big contract for us. Maybe I need to pay more attention to what the people are saying. And I think that that's what they're gonna start looking at too. Thank you, Council President.
That is a message of
Thank you, Director.
So with all due respect, council members, we had this discussion in workshop. This is what workshop is for. If there's an item that you don't feel comfortable voting on, let's just pull it. Councilman Jackson.
I'll try to be as brief as possible, and I'll piggyback off of Councilwoman Cotton's point. Let's just say if we did use her numbers and we bought 15 garbage trucks, at approximately $150,000 a piece, it's approximately $2.2 million. If we hired 40 employees at $100,000 per year, that's $4 million. That's about equivalent of what we're paying this company right now, and we'll have our own staff, our own trucks to do the work, just for a point of clarity. So, and we'll still save a few bucks because all those employees, that $4 million will remain in the city because they'll be forced to live within the city. But
Councilman, and just to help out, what you just stated, also the trucks, the $2 million in trucks, you don't have to pay in 1 year. You bond
correct.
for that and you
bond
pay
and
it
stretch
over the
for
years.
10 years.
Yeah.
I'm
So
very
I'm
much
sorry
so
about
aware,
that.
Council President.
Not for the
I don't
public,
think
for
you're
the
aware
public.
that I have a math degree, but, I don't tout that around. But anyway, for a point of clarity, I need a legal opinion, please, Corporation Counsel, because although my forte in college was primarily football and math, I never had the opportunity to study law, but it is my understanding that there's an obligation. And I would like for you to state the authority that as a council person, there's certain things that I'm entitled to. If I ask and request for a report, from my understanding, it is the obligation to fulfill that request. And if you don't have it now, maybe you can find it at another time, and just for the record, just put that authority on record, and how is it as a council person my requests consistently go ignored. I understand that I don't have the purview to direct the administration and direct employees and staff. That is the purview of the administration. But one of the things that I'm entitled to anytime I request it is a report. And most of the public saw I sat right here and I was promised a report on how many summonses was issued to this company, and I received nothing. I sent an email as I was requested to, and then there was a correspondence back from the chief, deputy chief from DPW, letting me know that there was over 121 summonses issued to members of the public for possibly putting their garbage out and not in a timely fashion. I had a number of constituents who have called back to complain that they were issued tickets because their garbage was failed to be picked up. So they left it there because, there's sometimes some issues, and the garbage company says, well, we didn't get an opportunity to get around to it, and they'll come back the following day. But instead of their garbage being picked up, they were visited by an inspector the following day, and they were issued a summons. Now, I know that there's many instances where the garbage company may not be able to facilitate all of their routes because their trucks are full. Well, we have a number of different constituents riding around now with their cameras filming box trucks pulling up to the back of a packer and loading it from loading it from a box truck. And this is not just one instance. I have videos now, I wish we were still virtual because I'll share my screen with the public, that, a young lady, I'm sure she doesn't want me, and I'm sure she doesn't mind if I mention her by name, but I won't do that anyway, because she put it on her page, and she tagged everyone here. I saw everyone was tagged to it, where a box truck on Broadway, right across the street from the BP gas station, was being filled, was filling its debris into a packer. So my concern is this. I've asked for, things over and over again. Obviously, Councilman Jackson is seen to be an obstacle and/or an issue, a problem. So, most of my concerns, if you even watch the mannerism of the BA, she never addresses me. If there's another council person that has an issue, she'll answer them by name and address the circumstances. All of my concerns are just clearly ignored. Now, it's not about my voice. It's not about Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson was elected by 30+ thousand residents that live in the first ward. And if they didn't vote for me, maybe enough of them did not get out to vote against me, to not put me here. So that means they voted in the affirmative. So I'm here to answer the concerns and the questions of the constituents. So ignoring me, you're ignoring the public. I think I address the sentiments of the public. I don't think, the director knows. If I have an issue, I take my own garbage to the transfer station and I pay to have my garbage removed. But with that being said, Corporation Counsel, I would love to have your assistance, please. I don't know if you're capable of doing it tonight. We can have this conversation, and it should also go through the parliamentarian, because this is this right is reserved by a council person to have these figures and reports answered to. I've asked for a number of different things that's just completely been ignored. So with that being said, Council President, listen, I feel the same way I felt last week about this company, and I don't put the blame on the onus on the company or the employees. It is the administration that fails to render the support that's needed to ensure that the constituency's best interests are kept in mind. So I'll rest it there, Council President. We can move to roll call. It's going to be what it's going to be anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Madam BA, I have a request, another one. It is the responsible thing, based on what we were told by the purchasing agent, that they're the only company bidding. That means that as long as we have the money in the budget, whatever amount of money they bid on, right, most likely they're gonna get the contract if we budgeted for it, because they're the lowest responsible bidder. Now,
Council President, to honor this contract, next year when we ought to bid, we don't know what the outcome will be. Three companies, two companies, the same company.
But based on the history, right?
Yes.
We have the same company bidding. Now, the responsible thing to do is to do an analysis, like Councilman Jackson stated. We purchased the trucks. If they cost $3 million, they're gonna be paid over the years. So show me how much it will cost us on a per year basis for those trucks, then add the employees required to do the job, plus the fringe benefits. It's that simple. Shouldn't take long. You call, get a quote for how much those trucks are, and it is that simple. That way we know how much, and it's not all about the money, but the services also need to be provided. Right now, you have the need for DPW to be supervising the third-party contract. If we have the employees, it is also your job to supervise them. So it just doesn't make sense to me. Like if the company was doing their job without us supervising them, then, I could see us spending a little bit more if we're getting the service. But we're having issues. So all I'm requesting is that analysis in comparison to how much we're paying this company.
Council President. Don't go like that, because I've been waiting for you.
You never asked for the floor until now. Councilman Velez.
Thank you. I just want to say that, and I have to give credit, we had a councilman of the 3rd Ward for the past 3 years giving that same analysis, bringing in-house the garbage collection. He spoke about trucks, he spoke about employees, he spoke about how it operates and everything. So let's see if the administration takes serious the echo sentiments of that councilman and the repeated request that Council President just did. So, we need to do something. But one of the things is, and director have to agree, and probably the BA will agree, it's not just hiring employees in the city of Paterson, and okay, we got this. we had to set a culture of responsible employees in the city of Paterson that do not call out on Friday, come back next Tuesday. Because what's gonna happen is, one route is gonna be hurt. We need to make sure that the pay of those employees stands for the work they will do and will do what they want to do, serve the city of Paterson. So you have to look at all those areas before we say we're doing this, and then we're gonna have more people in the city coming here complaining that our employees not doing the job. So all that stuff had to be taken in consideration. Thank you, Council President. We could go roll call.
Council President, before, council members.
Yeah.
15 or 18 years ago, Wayne DeFeo also presented a request for council members and study or doing it in-house or going out to bid. The same question was addressed to Wayne DeFeo, the consultant. He's going to be working with new numbers, of course. After 15, 18 years, things have changed, to know the costs associated to bring it in-house, purchase of the trucks.
Council President.
Hold on a minute. Council members, something you want to share with?
Yeah, we had a discussion about it at the committee meeting, and the consultant already doing the studies, analysis on how to bring, if it possible for us to bring it in-house.
Did they present the numbers
No,
already?
Not yet. He doing this, we do the analysis.
So it's being done right now.
Yes.
I want to see, I know that's going to be discussed in DPW. I want to see it in finance also. There is a finance component to it. So, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, Council President. Roll call on item number 15. Councilwoman Cotton.
We're voting.
Councilwoman Davila.
Go ahead. No.
Okay. We're voting on number 15?
Yes.
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
So, thank God for social media. Just for a point of clarity, you can go on my Facebook page long before I even got elected. The first year I ran an election, I was outside in front of paver boxes, outside in front of people that were doing underground sewer work, specifically talking about the necessity to bring home all the work. I did an analysis on the corner of Arch and Presidential, where I went out and interviewed a guy doing the work. I said, hey, you guys win contracts? And it's on my page clearly. He says, no, we're a subcontractor. We basically work for companies like Smith Sandy, and there's other large conglomerate companies that win bids here in the community. They sub it out. They win the bid so large, they sub it out 2 and 3 times, and everybody eats off of it. So I've been very consistent on this measure. In fact, the previous councilman of the 3rd Ward attempted to adopt it after I brought it to the table and claim it as his own. I really don't care who brings it forward. As long as we bring the measure forward to do what's best for the community, just think about that. If we could pay 40 members of the Department of Public Works $100,000 a year, when the average salary there is probably in the low 30s, you would have people working diligently to make sure that they didn't lose that position. So, you know, I'll keep it there, but I listen, it's nothing personal against the company. I just cannot support this measure when I know clearly that there's been a poor renderance of service, and this has to stop. We cannot just say, oh, it's the last minute, oh, we got nobody else. We make excuses for failure all the time, and this is why the city's the way it is. No other municipality does this. They will put a halt to the contract in the middle of it if the company rendering the service was incapable of doing the job. And this company is very much so capable, because we watched them do the job in other municipalities. Madam Clerk, my vote is no.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Khalid. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have a very extensive discussion, just for the record, in the committee with the expert. going out for a bid for one more year, we'll be hit with almost 10 to 19% increase with no reason. I think it's smart to renew the contract for one more year. And the most important thing is that since we've been holding this company accountable at the DPW committee, bringing the owner into those meetings, the job that they're doing is much better. We're holding them accountable and we're following up in every complaint. And that's what we need in the city. It doesn't matter, it could be Roselli, tomorrow it's gonna be another company. If we don't hold those companies accountable for the job that they have to do and that they've been paid for, they're not gonna perform the way they're supposed to. That's the reason why things have been changing. And now for the record, at the committee meeting also, I recommend the expert to go into an analysis to bring the garbage collection in-house. He's moving on into the analysis. Once it's finished, he's gonna present it to the committee and to the entire council. And before that, I make a recommendation to the administration to start a pilot program in the downtown area, which I love the idea, it's good. I'm looking forward to see the city of Paterson handling the garbage collection. And I'm going back, we're getting a lot of resources in the city. And if we think the right way and we make the right move, we could invest those resources into those equipment that we need. So that was my request for the study. Once we get it done, we're gonna present it and we're gonna be in the right direction. So my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims?
So, I stay quiet on some things, and other things I have a little bit of an elongated conversation. But when it comes to us as elected officials, it is a part of our legislative opportunity here to provide solutions to things or recommendations. I've been doing that since day one on this council. And I find it funny when recommendations are made, there's heads rolled and all types of things, but all throughout, other comments can be made. This is a good recommendation. And we all are here for that. If any one of us want to make a recommendation, it's great. If the administration takes it or not, that is their purview. But I think it's a great opportunity for us as council members to put forth solutions. Even if they take them, many of us do it all the time, and we have to respect each other's opinions and ideas and different things. And Councilman Jackson, I commend you for standing up and saying, this is what I did and this is what I stood for, because sometimes you have to do that as a reminder to say, this is something that I've advocated for. Some of us are newer to the council than others, so we can't speak to what other people have done before we got here. We can speak to what we've advocated for when we got to this council. And I'm gonna put it back on record again. I've been saying it from day one that we need project managers in the city of Paterson. When I first came to this council, I've been asking for it. I talked about the assessment of the streets, that we do a priority listing to determine what's in more need or greater need, and so many other areas we need it. And we have, I think they're called management specialists that we have. So maybe that could be something added to the assignment of work, or maybe that's a part of the duties to those individuals that are there, that can be done. And I'm not sure if that's the assessment that you're talking about, but that's something that was advocated for, and the administration took that request, and we have some individuals already on assignment, and they're doing that work. They're hired to do that work, and I really appreciate that. I'm gonna reclaim one more minute because I didn't speak all night. I didn't speak and elongated all night.
You my time.
And so with this, it's just my request and recommendation.
You're requesting an additional minute, you stated?
Well, not really requesting. Everybody else took it. It wasn't no time clock.
See, but this is the decorum that I'm talking about,
But
right?
Council President,
Hold on a minute.
Council
Hold on
President,
a
I
minute.
am almost done.
You're gonna get your
didn't-
minute.
But you're interrupting me. Let me just finish.
We're gonna
I'll be
waste.
done.
We're gonna waste 5 minutes
You're
discussing.
gonna waste, yeah, I'm gonna be done.
We have, hold on a minute, Councilwoman. You wanna get your minute. We're talking about we legislators. We have a decorum here. It's in the bylaws of the city, in the ordinance.
Council President, when I talk, there's a decorum. When other people talk, there's no time clock, there's no decorum. So I'm confused.
No.
Is there a decorum?
My last comment is that.
No, Council President, I'm almost done. Everyone else talk. Every time, Council President, I think you need to go back to every video and watch how you always cut myself and Councilwoman Cotton off. You need to watch the tape. You need to watch the tape. You really do. You need to watch the tape.
So,
I'm almost done.
Go ahead, you can finish. Go ahead.
I'm almost done.
I'll make my
There's
comment
always a
later.
decorum when Mim speaks. Decorum when other people
Velez.
speak. Von Schway that. So in closing, with this, since it's a year contract, can we make sure that we put a timeline together for that 6 months, the procurement process, to make sure that we do the bidding as needed, so that we can do what's necessary. Before I vote, I am going to apologize to the community. I am leaving right after this vote. My daughter had a procedure today, and so I have to go and tend to her. So to our community at large, I'm always here to the very end, but priorities call when my daughter, I dropped her off straight from the hospital before I came here, but I wanted to be in my place on tonight. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez?
Administration, as you heard from us, 9 members of the council, giving recommendation what we should do with the collection and disposal, bringing it in-house. I feel like we turn into ourselves an expert of waste solid. This had to work somehow. All the recommendation, this and that. But, doing analysis, me and myself here, and I didn't got paid for that. Cost of equipment, manpower for collection, cost for disposal. Those employees had to receive a attractive salary and set responsibility and accountability when it's already set up. So if we look into all that, it ends into a figure called money. And that's what the point that we had to look into. Where's going to be the saving? In old fashion and shape or fashion, whatever you want to put it, first or whatever. But as the chair of DPW stated, he's making some miracles that they are working a little bit better. Hopefully, it moves forward, and the residents of Paterson receive the service that they supposed to get based on their tax that they pay in the city of Paterson. So, I know it's not easy tax to promote bids and getting people to compete. And I'm not gonna steal 1 minute. I'm gonna steal 3 seconds. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
So council members, the action of you asking for the floor is for the president to give you the floor. All you have to say is, I'm gonna wrap it up. I need an additional minute, but don't say, oh, other people have talked all night. It's like, I'm taking it anyway, so why ask for it, right? That's the point that I'm trying to make. You don't have to basically state, oh, everybody else spoke. Now, there was a comment passed that I interrupt other people. Well, for the residents at home, go back to, if you have the time to entertain this nonsense, and I apologize, view the video and time it. Basically, during roll call, it states, and we all go over by a little bit, it states that you have 2 minutes as a council person. Yes, will you take 2.5? Will you take 3? Yeah, oftentimes you need that time. But all I ask is for a little respect. In all the 12, 13 years watching these meetings, I have never seen anyone ask for the floor and say, well, I need the floor. Other people talk, I haven't talked much, other people have talked. No, just ask for the floor, you'll get it. I haven't told nobody to don't. And if I don't interrupt you, you continue until I interrupt you. So my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. The votes are 7 yeses, 1 no, 1 absent. Item number 15 is hereby adopted.
Madam Clerk, item number 16?
Yes, Council President. Item number 16 is a resolution authorizing the renewal of a contract with Waste Management of New Jersey, Inc. for the disposal of recycled corrugated cardboard and commingled materials, bid number 21.06, for the Division of Recycling for the Department of Public Works. It's a Public Works Resolution number 21:1.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Davila. Who else? Roll call, Madam.
And Mims.
And Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 16, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Davila.
Director, you're still here. Send my regards to all of the individuals in the recycling department that have been ill. Said a prayer for them on Sunday at church. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik? Yes. Councilman Mendez?
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. We have 11 employees from the recycling department that went through COVID. They should be back this coming week, thank God, and 5 on the that being injured that are out, so there was no recycling this week. But hopefully they will be back on track next week, so we'll keep them in our prayer. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims?
So I want to say welcome back, Councilman Velez. It's been a pleasure tonight.
Was an
Welcome
honor.
back to our DPW Director. Welcome back from vacation. This item is definitely needed. We need our waste, our recycling to continue for solid waste. My vote is yes, and good night, Paterson.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez?
I just want to say to the residents of Paterson, please bear with the recycling pickup. I had a conversation with the directors today. They are going to get to it. As they stated, they are limited staff because COVID-19 had impacted those employees, you know, but bear with them. They're going to pick it up, and hopefully the employees come back safe. You know, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. The votes are 8 yeses, 1 absent. Item number 16, it is hereby adopted.
Move to close,
Before
Council
we
President.
do a
Move to
motion,
close.
before we do a motion to close, I just want to give you these numbers. That's what, you know, Sabrina came over and presented, made me aware that out of maybe 250 calves out there, I think 93 expire. So that was the reason why, and they already expired. That was
Yeah,
the
they
reason
expired.
why it didn't go through workshop and they brought it here.
You
So
want
I
to
just wanted
consider it? You want to consider it?
No?
Well, that's up to you guys to call it. And Councilwoman Davila just stated no, so what was the motion to close? You had a motion?
Move to close.
I move.
So
motion to
move by
close.
Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call to close the meeting of April 13, 2021. Councilwoman Cotton?
Please bear with me. A lot of stuff has been going on in the city, but I just want to say to my chief of staff, Jamie Bland, who's in the hospital, let's say a special prayer for her. She's always taking care of the children with the Jump Start program and doing so many different things, so I just want you all out there to please keep her in prayer. Also to Elvis Durham, everybody knows Elvis. His best friend passed away, Randy Stevens. They're having his funeral on Thursday. It was like, all of a sudden, you know, tomorrow's never promised to none of us. And some of us better start having good hearts because we don't know what's going to happen the next day. But his best friend, Randy Stevens, passed, and his funeral is Thursday, the 22nd of April, at Bragg's Funeral Home at 11 o'clock. You know what? To have some fun, our children need to have fun because I see what's happening with them. So we're doing Fly a Kite at Eastside High School with Kelly Morse Brown, Hearts of Hannah, the Bronze Heat, which is our black firemen, and also the Past Assembly of God. It's going to be at Eastside Park Sunday coming from 2 to 4, and we're going to fly kites because I know that sometimes we need to put some joy into our life. Also, next Saturday on the 17th, flying the kite is Sunday the 18th. Next Saturday the 17th, the Ceasefire Operation of Paterson with Winnie Harris is doing a clothing and food distribution at Buckley Park at 415 Chamberlain Avenue. It's going to be from 11 to 4. They're going to have clothing and clothing and food. They have a bunch of co-sponsors with them, so if you're not doing anything next Saturday, please. I just want to say that to everyone out there, there's no recycling this week, so please, let's all say a special prayer for our recycling department. some things has happened, so let's just say a special prayer. Is please, everyone, please do not put any recycle out, because there won't be any. I just want to say that, I just want to say too, and I want to say to the administration, I need you to help me to figure out, we have too many auto dealers in this city, and they're not legal. They're not legal, and they're ripping people off, and I'm not sure who's supposed to be watching them, or what department in the state's supposed to be looking at all these auto dealers that we got all over the city, and I need some help with that, Madam BA. Also, I want to also just bring out that past practice in the city has really cost us a lot. And what I'm saying, and I know a council person, I'm not mentioning a name, but he has talked about it, but I've seen it, I'm starting to see it, because some past practice have happened with previous mayors, and what I find is that it's really not good for the city. So somewhere or another, with contracts coming up now, we have to eliminate past practice. You know, I want to say to you all out there, to my constituents, to families out there, you know, we have so many people that especially my elderly family, I want to say to children, grown children, you got mothers and fathers out there that need help. Please look after people in your family. I want to say to our young people out there, there's so many things that goes on, you know, that we must take time and participate with our children no matter what we do. You have to take time and bring things out. But I want to say to all my constituents out there, you know, I've been around for a while, married to a man for so many years. And I make it a point, and I want to say it to you all out there, I make it a point to go to all departments in this city, I don't care what department it is, to let you know, that I do want to, whatever I can do to help, but I find that I need to have a relationship with everyone to help my constituents out there in the street, out there in the city of Paterson. For that being said, I know I said a lot. You might have to go back and replay the tape, but there's a lot of stuff happening, and I feel there's a lot of things happening. I got a lot of stuff on my mind. I don't need nobody sitting next to me telling me to be quiet, because I sit here, don't tell nobody to shut up. I tell no one to stop talking. With that being said, to you all out there, God bless you all. Look out for each other, help each other, do the best you can for each other. With that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Davila?
So before I vote, Councilwoman, I don't know who on this council has told you to shut up, but I don't think that
No, but
we can go back.
But I never stopped nobody from talking.
No, I understand, but
You don't
let's
hear
just
my
clarify, for the
don't hear my
viewers out there, no one tells anyone to shut up.
You don't hear my voice.
With that said, we are closing out the meeting, so I want to thank everyone out there. Our council colleagues, it's nice to have you back here, Councilman Velez. And I want to also just quickly say congratulations on to show some appreciation to the 2021 National Telecommunicators. This is its week, and there are 49 employees, so congratulations to all of you on this week. We had a presentation that we were going to do today for our poet laureate. Unfortunately, due to illness, we had to move that, so hopefully, Council President, you will allow it next week. I know it's a workshop, but maybe we could just do a quick presentation. If not, we'll do it on regular. And lastly, I know that there's a lot of individuals out there that have been losing loved ones. 2020 was hard, and 2021 has started in somewhat the same pattern as 2020. We understand that they're still vaccinating, so please go and get vaccinated. And lastly, Councilwoman, I won't be able to join you in some of the activities this weekend, and my colleagues, so y'all know, on Thursday I get my second dose, and I've heard that the second dose is a little tough, so I'm gonna kind of like lay it low for the next few days after Thursday. With that said, my vote is yes, to close the regular meeting.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
I don't know, Councilwoman Cotton, I'm not in the business of calling people out, but you muffled my microphone many a times when you was the council president. Shut me down quite a bit. I got kicked out of meetings. I didn't want to say nothing because she left the room, but Councilwoman Mims, as she stood in for council president, illegally removed me from a digital meeting, as council president, the current council president did as well. I couldn't wait to get back here to see somebody try to have me removed from this chambers. But that's a whole nother story within itself. Anyway, my sentiment goes out to Church Boy as well, his family, loss of his great friend as well. And Paterson, we have a lot of work to do. On the 19th, 6:30, we will be having our monthly First Ward meeting via Zoom, and all are welcome to attend. Based on some of the issues that the residents are asking to be asked or asking for to be answered. Maybe Corporation Council, if you have a moment, you may want to attend. We've had the former Corporation Council, a number of different directors have attended the meeting just to answer any questions directly from the constituents. I host the meeting, but it's more so about the constituents, and they ask questions directly. So I'll keep you posted if you can attend, and maybe the following month if you can. But with that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kalik?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May all my friends and family who is observing the holy month of Ramadan have a blessed and peaceful month. My vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So before my vote, let me wish all my Muslim brothers and sisters a blessed and safe Ramadan. Also, let me express my condolences to Church Boy and his family for the loss of his friend. And last but not least, let's keep our great friend Jamie Bland and all the family and member of this community that are going through this pandemic, this COVID-19 pandemic. So let's continue praying for them. Let's keep them in our prayer. Before my vote to the chair, to Madam B.A., Madam B.A., I want to insist on this list. It just took me a week to go over the third ward. I would say maybe 10 days to go each street in the third ward and get an assessment of what needs to be done and how the street needs to be fixed from one side to another side. So let me just give you an example. On East 22nd Street, on this list, we're planning to fix East 22nd from the 2nd Avenue to the 3rd Avenue. Most of the residential are between 7th Avenue to the 3rd Avenue. So we're not gonna impact those residents that live there. So on my list, East 22nd have to be fixed from 1st Avenue to 7th Avenue. We have it from 2nd to 3rd Avenue. So this is a very important, plan. And this list, the administration is going to be able to combine this list with the project and future project that PNC&G has, Passaic Valley Water Commission, and any other company that are planning to come into the city of Paterson. This is going to be a win-win for everybody. And I'm insisting in this master plan. We got all the third ward, but I know you have a staff that could handle all the different work and start working on this, because the condition of our road are in need of attention, and especially with funding that we're getting. And also, I make that request to have a conversation at the next workshop about the almost $5 million that we have from the $38 million bond on the last resurfacing project. Let's invest those tax dollars into our road, Madam Clerk, with a good plan, because that's what we need. And so before my closing, to all the Paterson residents, and especially my third ward resident, East 42nd Street, from the dead end to 20th Avenue is going to be fixed. I know I have somebody from Paxton Street that texted me from Bloomfield Avenue to Genesis. East 31st Street from School 26 to Broadway. that have been waiting for the longest, going to be fixed. So, and you will see the lifts out there. So, but I'm insisting on this plan because that's what we need in the city of Paterson. We need a specific plan, a long-term plan that is going to include all the roads in the city of Paterson. I know we have a large discussion about the garbage collection. I'm looking forward to get the study back from the expert and see how can we get into the direction of bringing the collection of the garbage back based on that study. So Paterson, be safe. COVID-19 is still here. Let's use our face mask. I love smiling. I love to hug people. That's what I love. But I cannot take my mask off. If you see me without my mask, it's because either I'm doing a video or I'm doing something, but I'm always have my mask on. Let's practice the social distancing, and let's pray for those family in need. And Councilwoman Canton, we love you. I love you. All right? Good night, Paterson. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Velez?
Well, Councilwoman Ruby Cotton, you know, I have to say that I know how you feel. I get that experience. What are we gonna do? But hey, we had to get along. First of all, I want to say thank you to the residents of the Fifth Ward. Even that I was out for 10 days. I was aware of any situation in the Fifth Ward, but I was not by myself. Councilwoman Davila took care of my ward and call of service, and I appreciate that she was there. And any other councilman at large that took care of calls from the Fifth Ward. Thank you for assisting me on the issue of my absence on my vacation. You know, this is really important to announce that everybody knows that Johnson & Johnson's putting a hole in their vaccine. So please, if you need to get vaccinated, St. Joseph and the county come in conjunction to work with us. If you need to make an appointment to get this vaccine, the Pfizer or Moderna, you could go 973-910-2502. Once again, 973-910-2502. You know, let's keep on working. Let's keep on doing what we was called to serve in the city of Paterson. I took the second dose today. The first reaction that I had with my second dose is I got home, I took a mop, a broom, I started cleaning the house, I got energized. So that's a good reaction though. But, you know, to keep active. What I'm saying is, you take the second dose, if you start working with your mind and start thinking things, you're gonna probably feel things that are not even related to the injection, to the vaccine. So let's be positive. As I said the other day, somebody asked me which one was the best one. For now, is the first one that you take, Pfizer or Moderna. I will not take Johnson at all. But, you know, get vaccinated, wear your mask, use distancing, still is on progress, and make sure that you love and hug your family, because you speak to them today, as Councilwoman Ruby said it, is not guaranteed that tomorrow. I just want to make this special announcement that I welcome anyone.
Councilman, please.
Yeah, I'm wrapping. I want to welcome everyone. If they need something from me, you could call me at my number at 201-496-8082. Once again, 201-496-8082. Buenas noches. Dios me lo bendiga a todos. Thank you, Council President.
So,
my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President.
So council colleagues, when I decided to run for office, I watch these meetings all the time, and it was never this organized. And let me tell you the importance of, you notice how the bell rings, you take 30 more seconds. I think if you can't get your point across in 3 minutes, there is a problem, you know. So let me give you an example. If each one of us take 3 minutes, and some of us have been taking 5. I don't mind somebody wrapping it up. There is times you need 3 minutes. That's fine. But I think it's very disrespectful when you ask for the floor and say, well, don't ask for it. If you're going to take the time anyway. Look, you kept going, right, Councilman Mendez? Councilman Velez, you needed more time, you take it. Now, if I see that you go and it's getting extensive, I look at my colleagues and they're all shaking their head like, come on. I usually interject. Now, out of respect to the residents, imagine if each one of us take 5 minutes. 9 times 5 is 45 minutes just to vote on an item. That's without taking into account the discussion. Sometimes we have discussion that we're not limited to the 2 minutes under discussion. So, great example, we're closing this meeting right now. If there was 9 of us right now, and we each take 3 minutes to close, that's 27 minutes just to close a meeting. Now, if you have 10 items of the agenda, and let's just say we don't have discussions on those items, right? Let's say we don't. In a perfect world, let's say we had the discussion in workshop. That's what workshop is for. We come here. If we each take 3 minutes, that's 27 minutes times 10. That's 4.5 hours just to do 10 items. Now, council members, with all due respect, you guys have been here for a long time, and I used to sit out there all the time to watch the meetings. You have never done what you have been doing this year. I know some council members are upset because they wanted to be president, but it's not helping the cause because you would not get my support for the presidency by behaving the way you're behaving. You're not doing a disservice to me. You're doing a disservice to the residents and to the business of the city. It is an embarrassment that you act like children. Well, I'm going to speak because so-and-so spoke. Really? Just speak. Just ask for the floor. It's just childish. This has got to stop. We look very unprofessional. You always try to make a case the administration don't work with some of us. Well, who would work with some of us? I wouldn't work with some of the members here if I was the administration. It's sad how unprofessional some of my colleagues are. And I don't really care what people are going to say on Facebook or anywhere tonight. I really don't. They shouldn't waste their time because all I'm saying is I'm asking for something simple. Let's hold decorum out of respect to the residents, to the people that watch these meetings. This is very embarrassing. My vote is yes.
Thank you.
Actually, one thing before my vote. Don't call the vote yet. Corporation Counsel, I want to ask, could you look into the ordinance that we have in place pertaining to attendance in some of those boards? We have board members in like the planning board that out of 37 meetings, they have missed like 25. Now, you have developers, right? You have to sometimes give incentives to developers to come here to invest. Now, these people come here and they spend thousands of dollars between lawyers, architects, and then you don't have a decorum. You don't have enough people in the meeting. So I want to know what is the attendance requirement and see if we could change it. If by legally we could change and put some stipulation that if you miss X amount of meetings or a percentage of the meetings, you will be removed because this is not right.
Yeah, Council President, I believe we do have that research available to you, and 4 consecutive meetings for a planning board would militate towards a removal. I think it gets a little dicier when it's not consecutive, and if that's something you want us to address, we'll be happy to take it
We're going to
up.
address that, but right now you have some that have consecutively missed 4.
I
Is 3
believe
consecutive?
3 is for the Board of Adjustments as opposed to planning.
So either way, in the interest of moving the city forward, again, those boards, those members that are doing this are doing a disservice to the progress of economic development in the city. We need to remove them. So I'm hoping to hear from you. Thank you and good night.
Council President, I have to announce the votes, sir. I didn't announce the vote. Okay, so the votes are 7 yeses, 2 absent. The meeting of April 13th, 2021 is adjourned. Good night, everyone.